In a flourishing Italian city consumed by invisible death, where bodies accumulate faster than they can be interred, and survivors abandon all social bonds in desperate flight towards survival, a gathering occurs within sacred stone walls. 7 women of varying ages and temperament, their wealth and education elevating them above the masses of afflicted, make a fateful decision to flee the rotting corpses and suffocating miasma of their home city toward refuge within the countryside. By providence or coincidence, 3 men of comparable status and refinement arrive at the same sanctuary where these women congregate, and an immediate understanding blooms between the 2 groups that survival and sanity require mutual companionship through escape. Without elaborate ceremony or formal arrangements, the 10 individuals depart together toward a magnificent dwelling situated among agricultural lands, orchards heavy with fruit, and structures designed for leisured contemplation rather than urban commerce. Once established within this sanctuary of gardens and flowing water, the refugees recognize that their salvation extends beyond mere physical distance from pestilence. The weight of catastrophe presses upon their consciousness, and the bonds of civilization disintegrate. They require structure, purpose, and reconnection to those elements that elevate human existence above mere animal survival. A system emerges from their deliberation. Each cycle of daylight and darkness will be devoted to storytelling, binding them in shared creativity. Each participant contributes a narrative for entertainment. One among them becomes sovereign each rotation, establishing a thematic framework for that day's tales. This democratic yet hierarchical structure balances autonomy and collective necessity, guiding their newfound rhythm. The first evening's gathering offers no prescribed theme. One woman recounts ecclesiastical corruption hidden beneath piety, another a merchant whose cunning turns disaster into fortune and marriage. Listeners find entertainment and philosophy intertwined within human complexity. The next day's stories celebrate misfortune transformed into happiness. Lovers, separated by family and time, reunite unexpectedly, while a woman's tested virtue earns long-delayed recognition. Perseverance and luck transform despair into fulfillment, hope into reward. On the third day, intelligence and determination triumph. A merchant recovers stolen treasures through strategy. A young woman evades forced marriage through deception, gaining freedom and love. These tales exalt human ingenuity, confronting adversity and constraint. The fourth day darkens. Love becomes destruction. A noblewoman's passion for a lower-born man ruins her house. Another pair dies for forbidden devotion, their tragedy framed by rigid justice and unyielding custom. The fifth day restores light. Lovers endure shipwreck and slavery, only to find each other in captivity and engineer escape. Another man reclaims his beloved from an unwanted husband, achieving happiness through patience and resolve. The sixth day exalts wit and verbal agility. A woman deflects a nobleman's threat with razor-sharp insults, preserving her virtue. A merchant's quick words transform impending violence into profit. Intelligence becomes survival's sharpest weapon. The seventh day concerns wives' clever deceits. One maintains a secret lover without arousing suspicion. Another avenges infidelity through manipulation, forcing her husband to witness humiliation and acknowledge her superior cunning and control. The eighth day mirrors the seventh. Men and women deceive one another in games of wit. A seducer finds himself tricked by his target. A scheming merchant is outplayed by a wiser courtier, deceit collapsing upon itself. The ninth day lifts thematic limits entirely. Tales of virtue, wisdom, and generosity fill the air. A charitable woman transforms her community through forgiveness. A noble father sacrifices for his children's advancement, exemplifying moral elevation. The 10th day celebrates self-sacrifice. A merchant relinquishes wealth to save the suffering. A woman's unwavering devotion endures betrayal and separation until her beloved returns transformed, her faith vindicated through constancy and grace. Through these 10 rotations, the refugees learn their purpose surpasses survival. Storytelling becomes examination of existence itself, virtue, chance, consequence. The tales refuse simple morals, inviting reflection on motive and meaning. As time passes, their fellowship deepens. Shared crisis evolves into affection and respect. Beneath intellect and story, they find compassion, humor, and mutual regard, connections that elevate them above fear and isolation. The sanctuary nurtures transformation through ritual rhythm. Mornings bring reflection and prayer, afternoons, music and conversation. Evenings, the stories themselves, entertainment fused with inquiry, binding them in contemplation and laughter. One morning, debate rises over a tale of a woman resisting coercion. Her defiance reveals inner strength. Listeners dispute whether virtue lies in courage or circumstance, whether moral triumph can coexist with fear. Another evening explores deception. A woman deceives her husband to pursue love. Some condemn her immorality, others defend her autonomy against betrayal. The discussion exposes fractures over gender, power, and justice. Merchants populate many stories, embodying Florence's mercantile soul. Their success depends on intellect and calculation, not virtue. Profit replaces feudal honor as society's measure, reflecting a new age's pragmatism and ambition. Religious hypocrisy recurs often. Abbots keep lovers, bishops hoard wealth, priests seduce under guise of counsel. Yet genuine faith persists in rare figures of sincerity, contrasting institutional decay with personal holiness. Women display intelligence and independence across tales. The educated defy arranged marriages. The poor exploit wit or charm to survive. Even victims articulate injustice eloquently, exposing hypocrisy and demanding recognition. Romantic tales praise unions born from affection, opposing transactional marriage. Yet many acknowledge how social obligation and wealth crush desire. Love and duty remain in tension, rarely harmonized within rigid structure. Humor cuts through solemnity. Crude jokes mingle with satire, slapstick, and verbal duels. Ridicule of pretension balances despair, laughter restoring equilibrium where plague and sorrow threaten to consume humanity. As the final days near, awareness returns. The plague persists. Their retreat is temporary. Storytelling cannot cleanse death, but it affirms existence beyond decay, granting meaning through shared imagination and memory. The last night glows with gratitude. Their tales of generosity mirror their own fortune. Survival itself feels like grace. Companionship, honesty, and intellect have offered redemption no prayer could ensure. They part with solemn joy. Each carries memory and transformation. Women prove equal in intellect. Men learn dialogue over dominance. Together they form a fellowship rooted in thought, not hierarchy. The stories endure beyond their return. Passed orally, later written, they outlive plague and flesh. Future readers encounter voices seeking meaning amid ruin, discovering themselves mirrored across centuries and circumstance. Desire, loss, cunning, generosity, love, betrayal, unchanging elements of the human condition, resonate eternally. Through these medieval storytellers, humanity recognizes its own reflection, endless in variation, constant in essence.